Surf's up, guys. It's Mauisnake here, and today we're going to go over Twistzz, the Canadian star rifler for FaZe. Probably thought that this team was still led by Nico. No, you are living under a rock. That is not the case. In fact, who's thinking that? I hope it's not one of you. I think my listeners have a little bit more, they know a little bit more about the scene than the average fan. That's why you're here on this channel. I only have a couple thousand subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that. I want to hit 10,000 by the end of the year. You know, it's nice to have goals like that. It'd be nice to reach that goal. So be sure to sub. If you haven't already, be sure to like, comment. Tell me who you want to see in a demo review, and maybe I'll get to them, if they have a good enough game. So let's get into this one. We've got Twistzz. We've got him in the lower bracket, round 1. This is do or die, map number 3 versus Spirit. A Spirit that has been kind of up and down lately. You know, consistent top 15 team. They've got a lot of firepower on their roster. Mir and Dexter in particular are two players that seem like they can always take over in a game. Magix can't really count him out either. And we're going to see a Vertigo game. So this is going to be, I think, the first time that I've gone over a rifler on Vertigo. Obviously watched a lot of Vertigo games on my own, but either way, this is, I think usually it's been Oppers. I think it's been OC, Surson, go back in my videos if you are curious in how an Opper plays it. But looking at the series here, we see that Twistzz top fragged it with 72 kills, 99 ADR, but on Vertigo, the one we're going to go over, he went 25 and 14, 108 ADR in a closeout do or die match, 1.59 rating. We're going to go over both sides. He starts on the CT side, goes 16 and 8 with 110 ADR, and on the T side, cruises to a comfy 106 ADR, and overall puts up a great performance. Seals FaZe's fate in this one. I guess seal wouldn't be the right word, more like propels them to face off against Vitality, who they end up beating. Then they face off against Heroic, and then they make it to the playoffs of Katowice. Obviously, this is being released after Katowice is over, but I am recording it before it is over. So we don't know who won yet, but I want to just throw this out there. This video might be all wrong, but I'm going to say I don't think it's going to be FaZe that win at all. We'll see, though. Maybe Twistzz does some magic, Either way, let's get into this one. Okay, so we're skipping actually the first 4 rounds of this game because they're pretty uneventful. So we're going to round number 5 where Twistzz finally gets some action coming his way because he is a B anchor. It's not something you always see for a star player, but it is what Twistzz chooses. And he actually supports Olaf a little bit on this round. Nice little flash to set up Olaf. But he doesn't actually go for the peek. And now Twistzz throws a nade underneath. Just holds the line here with Olaf. And as always, I use the player's crosshair when they played the match. But I am on 1920 with highest settings. So we can see things that maybe the low-res people cannot see. Either way, Twistzz just buckles in with Olaf. There's a flash to try to support Olaf there. And this is a round where we actually want to turn up the volume a little bit. Because I want you to hear this. Listen. You hear that? A little bit of burning right there. What does that tell Twistzz? That there's a person right there. So he's going to get that kill on a Magix. That was a Molotov from Spirit that they actually messed up on a little bit. And it burns Magix just enough so Twistzz has an audio cue. I point that out because on the cast, I think it was like Hugo or Harry. They weren't sure whether or not you could hear the burning from there. Definitely can. Definitely audible. So that's going to be a freebie for Twistzz because of that. And then he's just playing a setup with Olaf, where Olaf is sitting behind default, throws his nades to make it abundantly clear to Spirit where he is in this setup, and then Twistzz just holds the line here. Very confident about holding this angle, even though it seems like it's very 50-50. He is holding the right eye versus a left eye swing from a T, and flashes come out, decides it is his time to strike, and just honestly, great timing from Twistzz. Quad is a very tough position for T's to deal with, and you'll see exactly why. If they don't molly you out right there, it's very difficult. As they scale onto the bomb site, they really just can't look at you. They want to be looking towards that direction. So in this round here, Twistzz uses a nice little bank molly off of this. If you guys didn't know, this is angled, as a matter of fact. Don't really see people throw that Molotov too often, but then Twistzz, after throwing the Molotov, figuring out it's an A play, he rotates on in, throws a support flash for his teammates, and Spirit slow down, so he worries about any kind of lurk, but really, at this point, just kind of holds on to mid for his team. Just goes for a couple timing peaks towards construction here and towards middle. But he's just going to be kind of looking between these angles. Nothing really too crazy about this. And then he rotates on in. And he's able to pick up Dexter. Pretty clean round. And actually, he thinks about picking up the Krieg, but Kerrigan's like, you know what? I probably just lost that fight because I have that gun. This round, really nothing happens. I almost don't need to show you it, but you'll see. We'll just zoom through it. You know, he just throws his same nade set that he threw for Olaf the other time, and then his whole team dies a day. So he plays close, and his team dies a day, so we're just going to skip this because he saves. That's it. That's all that happens. Nothing to talk about. And so this is a round where you probably think, why does Twistzz throw this grenade? And we will see. What is that grenade? He has a smoke and a Molotov. He's holding close towards B here. We'll talk about a little bit more about the strengths of B setups as we switch to the T side, because FaZe actually lose a couple rounds because Spirit put together some really nice CT defenses. So if you guys skipped in the timestamps to see the CT side and how strong it can be towards B, it's actually, you're going to learn more from Spirit than you are going to learn from FaZe in this game. So just so you know. Just holds on to the space, throws that Molotov towards lower, and this is the smoke where it's kind of like, why does he throw this? But the reason he does that is because he smokes off this lower area, and it's basically a gamble right now. What he is hoping is that Spirit, to reclaim this B main, lower B position, they will give off an audio cue. There is a chance that someone from Spirit is already down here, in which case this would have been a very weak play from Twistzz, but he's taking the risk that there is actually no one there, and because of that, they would probably need to make some kind of cue in order to try to reclaim that space, as I mentioned. So Twistzz tries to find something back in this round, but Spirit, you know, they've got great post-plant positions. He gets the kill on the mirror, and not much more to say in this round. Just going to go for the save as Spirit pick up a fifth. And yeah, FaZe are in the hole. It's a dire situation, you know. You're down on the CT side of Vertigo. You are facing elimination, and FaZe, you know, they've had a really rocky time with this roster. Actually, when Olaf came back, it looked a little bit brighter, but they have been struggling for a while. So LAN needed to be a time where they stepped up, and they actually did that. So Twistzz, given that he has a premium rifle in this round, decides to, you know, take a little bit of a risk there against Mirror, and that is a very hard fight. He hits the dink to start that off, then continues the spray, and really there's not much for him to hit for Mirror, because Mirror is only really presenting a head, kind of like an upper chest area, and he hits it with a great spray. So Twistzz is able to find not an equalizer, but at least a return kill. Quick switches before he throws the Molotov. And I want to explain one thing here. This is like basically how T sides need to take space towards A. And what you're going to see right now is one player from it's SDY. He throws this Molotov. So look at it in the air right there. There's this Molotov that's flying towards Twistzz. And what you'll notice is that it gets put out. And why that Molotov is so important, you will see exactly why. You'll see what the punish is for that Molotov not being there. Because what that Molotov would do is it would normally force players, it wouldn't necessarily go into this corner, like deep here. It doesn't take away this angle. It actually takes away this angle. It takes away where Twistzz and Rain are at the moment. This little box that they're in right there. It forces them either forward to a fight or it forces them back in the open. And the reason that angle is so valuable for CTs is because look at Dexter's position right now. Dexter would normally, when he scaled up, be able to see if anybody had backed up. If this Molotov had landed, they would have had to back off and Dexter would have had a clean shot at them as he moved forward. But instead, Twistzz and Rain are now tucked into Ivy and they have control of this area that makes things just very awkward for Spirit. It's one of the few cool intricacies of Vertigo, because look at, they're in that position. They thought it might have just been Rain, but no, Twistzz is still there, and now Olaf joined up with Twistzz. They're both in control of the bomb, and they're playing a very passive game. Twistzz is going to hold this angle for quite a long time. He's not going to see anything, but they know that Magix is still around the sandbags area, and they know that Dexter has to try to help him. This is kind of interesting because both teams throw a flash simultaneously. You'll see that Dexter just threw one towards this area while Twistzz throws one towards sandbags. It's kind of like a double flash thing that where no one really gets the better of it except Olaf, who is tucked in towards the ramp. And now Dexter finds the space to get the bomb, but knowing that there's so little time left and Twistzz has the lower HP here, he decides that he wants to go for the peek. He also knows that Dexter just threw the flash from the bomb site, so he's probably going to be around this area. And so Twistzz just crouch swings, or he actually doesn't crouch. He just swings into the angle, and he gets Dexter and is able to recover the op. And that's one of the few moments where you think, okay, Vertigo does have some interesting interactions. I'm not going to say it's a great map. I don't think it is. But I think that it's there's a little bit more to it than just like, let's exec from a ramp. It's not really just that anymore, guys. Like, people understand like the push and pull a little bit better on the map and what's valuable and what isn't in terms of positioning. So round 10 here, this is going to be a really passive mid hold for Twistzz, where he just kind of looks for timing peaks. And this is something Twistzz does a lot. Actually, no, this is not a timing peak round. He just holds this angle, hoping for a boost potentially from the T's, because they might go for mid control with a boost on this box right here. It's very common for them. And then he goes into the timing peaks. So he's just looking for something, you know, just back and forth. Peaks mid out. And it looks like there's some pressure towards A, so he rotates on over. Gets the kill onto Chopper, and Twistzz actually doesn't do anything else in this round, but we're going to look at Brokey, because FaZe win this round. And Olaf has a smoke, which was on Twistz's body. Olaf has a defuse kit, realizes there is a win condition in this round. It is smoking the bomb and sticking it. And this is where people probably think, you know what, Vertigo isn't that fun to watch. And I can't really blame them, because this happens a lot. This really happens a lot. And so, bomb has been defused. And Olaf doesn't go for the kill. Knows what his team needs. Bad money. Just recovers the op. Sorry to pull away from Twistzz, all you Twistzz fans out there. But that was a very cool round. That Olaf recognized the way to win it. And it's why Olaf still has a lot of value on this team. Doesn't always get the best stats, but just does what they need to in order to try to win rounds. And you need that. You need players like that. You actually, it's like you want the right balance of a team like that. Like, you want the Olaf Meister, you want the Tarek sometimes, you want the selfless guy, the Stewie 2K on Liquid. Sorry for all the NA references, but my bias might be showing a little bit. But Twistzz plays the off angle on the site, gets one, and he is done. Try to escape after that, but that's just a cool little off angle. It doesn't need to be explained all too much, you know, just behind this box. The T is usually going to want to clear as they move up. They want to clear behind the box. That's kind of what Dexter's looking for. But you know, it's just a cool off angle from Twistzz. That's pretty much all it is. But yeah, there's value in players that just play for the win condition and around for the team. I would say for FaZe, that's probably Olaf and Kerrigan both do that. I would say for Spirit, it's probably Chopper. You can really think about is it Sanji on Virtus Pro? I'm trying to think of who it is on each team. For Astralis, they kind of all do it, so I can't really pick them. For Vitality, it's pretty much Apex. RPK did it a lot. Shock's a little bit more now. When Simple was slumping by Simple standards, it was him. When he had like a 1.1 rating over a couple months, he was like playing for the win condition a lot more, as opposed to making this more selfish play. I felt like he was doing things like for the macro reasons, but yeah, either way, Twistzz once again throwing out a timing peek towards middle. He's playing a more passive default there, and throws a nice nade that lands right on Mirror. And this is where you're gonna see him just kind of go for that timing stuff again. You know, just peeking in, picking out, just kind of moving around a lot. And this is something that you would never see Twistzz do if he knew that they were on guns. Like, this spot is just so, it's like, what, come on, like, this is just so, like, in your face. Like, are you serious right now, man? Like, like, this is so shameless. But, you know, if there's anybody that can do this on FaZe, I'll say, sure, Twistzz. You can just sit there. That's fine with me. That's fine with me. It's an off angle. You know, it's an off angle. It's probably good for one, probably two for someone of Twistzz caliber. But, like, if I saw Kerrigan doing that, I'd be kind of like, come on. like really? Like, you're just gonna get one and die probably. But Twistzz kills people so fast. You can't blame him, and you see why. Rotates in, just owns him. And Twistzz here, this is going to be a round basically to skip. He sets up Olaf a little bit with this lower play, throws some utility, throws a nice smoke that's actually going to block off even deeper B main, and even throws a Molotov on top of it. And then he rotates over to mid, and once again, he's going to look for the timings here. Even though Mirror is here, Mirror kind of you know, clears it out, creates a little pressure, shows some nades. He throws a smoke, a molly, and then Twistzz just goes for this, and really that's all he does in this round because they lose A and Spirit take it. But that was like not like Twistzz just had to save there, so that's all that happens. So throws a Molotov onto the steps early on, trying to prevent any sort of quick play. And this is a little bit of a gamble from FaZe. They give up a lot of B. He plays a much more heavy mid sort of setup here. You'll see that Olaf is really right there with the op. Olaf should be good for 1, and if he tucks, as soon as he rounds this corner, what this means is the setup allows Twistzz to just help out. Because Olaf could never run up the ramp and get away, he mostly has to just kind of like move to right here. And because of that, they can kind of play a 1-2-3 setup. Like Olaf gets 1, then Twistzz gets the second, and look at, I mean, he actually backs all the way up because he really just doesn't think there's anybody else there, I guess. But it's kind of like a get the shot. You can fall if they're overwhelming, but because they aren't overwhelming, he can take a very safe position. So Olaf there has a little bit of like responsibility, a little onus, where he's gonna, you know, depends what his rotation is. If he makes a bad choice, that could all fall apart, but you know, Olaf is gonna make the right one. And so this round here, Twistzz is just gonna be like this is basically all he does. He just kind of like uncrouches, crouches, uncrouches, crouches, and then they win a day. It's kind of like a weird way to play a timing game, I would say. Like I crouching, uncrouching. I feel like that's more of, I'm sure like Twistzz watches these videos sometimes. Like Twistzz has messaged me the first time I did a player analysis about him, and I'm curious, Twistzz, if you're watching, are you just crouching, uncrouching because you're trying to reset your eyes, or are you doing it because you actually think that's valuable in terms of mechanical, like dodging shots, right? Like I'm curious, but if he doesn't see this, then maybe I'm just being braggadocious because he DM'd me one time like 4 years ago. So this is really interesting. So Twistzz throws the smoke to counter a fast B exec, and he actually gets on the rail, and this is why I probably can't be a pro player, because this is something where I might mess that up, that jump right there, and he throws even counter utility, then just moves back into quad. Like, I feel like most players here feel like there's so much pressure, like you gotta go, but he realizes that the crossfire between him and his teammates is so strong that he doesn't need to swing out. Sorry for being a little late on that one, but he doesn't need to just swing out. Like, Brokey and Olaf are both holding with ops, and so he somehow finds the lineup. Like, he does swing out for, you know, the ego, trying to find the final kill, but, like, all in all, just so composed in that situation. And Twistzz has just got, you know, he's got ice in his veins, and I'm not just saying that because that's what all the Zoomers are saying, but no, he's actually just super cool, calm, and collected. But yeah, CT side, I think when you really look at Twistzz, like, the thing that stood out about him wasn't his aim in this half. It was the fact that he's using timing peaks constantly to try to kind of like lame his opponents. He's trying to be very annoying because they think they're pushing up, and yet he swings out at that perfect opportune time, and that's why he's able to get some freebies here and there. But this is just a heavy mid play from FaZe. They get thwarted pretty quickly here. Olaf Meister dies in just a second. And then it's Twistzz in a 1v4, and if he knew how low these players were, maybe he plays this a little differently, but I'm not sure if he's really aware. So he just kind of throws the decoy. You'd say maybe there's a case for him that he could have found a kill, but when he goes for the reswing, they're all holding his position. And this round, it's going to be a slow B creep where because he got some kills, he's able to get a deagle, and he gets forced off. Like, this is just good defensive procedures from Spirit here. You know, Twistzz, he wants to get some space. I'll show you the angles he takes and how good his crosshair placement, because it's pretty good. It's pretty solid, you know. Like, he wouldn't have to move his hand too much in any of these swings. But SDY, you know, looks like he stole that off angle from somebody, and he just he almost got a freebie, but they actually strafe right. But there's a great counter flash there. Kerrigan does get one, but there's just not a lot for Twistzz here in this one. Just gets mowed down. And so round 18, I want to show you guys the importance of this default smoke. A lot of teams make their B player throw the Ivy smoke early on, you know, the one that kind of lands over here to gain space. But this is why it's really nice to make sure your B guy has nades, because there's so many little plays he can do with his smokes. There's like 2 different one-ways. I would even say this is a third one-way, but this is just very common, and even throws a nade to stop any kind of aggress. This would have stopped anyone that got close on the stairs. And this is how Twistzz likes to use the smoke. Just peeks out. It's very difficult for the CT to see you. He even has a gap in his smoke, and he can play around that. Like, just peeks out all these angles really cleanly so that he can take space by himself. There won't be anybody here. But he clears out all the angles, and then now he just has full lower B control. Like, this is just so valuable because now his team can boost him up. They can go for a set play. I think Kerrigan isn't standing high enough, actually. This is kind of annoying. It's kind of frustrating if you're Twistzz. That's a situation. I'm just, like, getting the anxiety of being that player. But Twistzz gets very close. Smoke has a bad gap in it, and then they just explode onto the bomb site. Very good spray from Twistzz to hit the headshot onto SDY, and that's it. They got the bomb site. Basically a contact kind of explosion play, and at this point, you feel like you're in complete control, and you are. That's all it is. That's all there is to it. And this is, for you guys who are interested in maybe some better CT setups, Spirit runs a great one on B here. They throw a smoke that kind of makes Twistzz rethink his life, because this is just so strange. But it actually is like, if you can't peek close. If the smoke here is so that if anybody strafes out, then the CT will see the feet of that player. And I'm not sure if it's an accident, honestly. But either way, you know, keeps Twistzz wary. A little bit late on that flash. And I want you guys to see now with FaZe execing the setup for Spirit. Because they throw all these nades, but a great counter smoke there from Spirit halts FaZe. And FaZe, maybe they could call for a re-exec here. But they've already shown their hand. They've thrown a lot of their, like, primary nades, you know, the Molotovs, the nades. They feel like they might have a read on the situation towards B right now. And SDY plays this perfectly. So we are going to go to him because he will be killing Twistzz anyways. But the flashes go in. He's playing right behind the sandbags. And this is just, like, the best spot ever. Like, this is just so powerful. Like, basically, the way this is so strong is because when a T enters this bomb site, if they go through the main entrance, they basically have to look right. They just have to look right. There could be a player in front of the smoke. There could be a player on the side of the generator. They could be behind default. You have to look right as you are coming out here. So you can never clear a person behind the sandbag or right here. So usually the way to mitigate that is that you need a person as a T to go across the railing. And so the railing usually will clear this angle out. So SDY plays the perfect angle where basically if anybody's running out through this area, they have to look right, and anybody running out here will never hard clear into this corner. Very good positioning by SDY, like just taking full advantage of that. And this is a Reddit clip. So if you guys are on the front page of Reddit consistently, you may have seen this one because Twistzz beats SDY with a Glock. Just, who says firepower doesn't matter? Like, who, like, you think Kerrigan's gonna do that? You think, like, show me, like, tell me 50 other players in the world that are gonna do that. I don't think so. I just don't think so. It's not happening. That damage is, it matters. It matters. Because look at Magix. He's on a FAMAS. You think he'd have that if SDY didn't die right there? Doubt it. They lose the round anyways, but those kind of kills, they can make a world of difference. That one gun that it takes away can be everything. So Twistzz throwing some very standard utility to get control towards B main. The Molotov on the back of the wood angle. Just a very common angle. We saw Olaf playing there. We saw Twistzz playing there a little bit. It's a spot that a lot of people like to play. And that nade behind triple. Or sandbags, really. I don't know what you want to call that. Like, people have called it different things. I've heard I've heard, like, oranges. I've heard triple. I've heard emo. I think emo was the most popular because there was shadow there before, but then they kind of took it away. But Twistzz, he gets a lot of space. He's right here by the wood. Didn't even need to get boosted up. Just good movement. Very aware of where his character model is on the map at any given time. And he's able to get very close. And his teammates are pretty close to him. He's maybe going just a hair earlier than he should. But as soon as Kerrigan gets in there, Kerrigan just is like, all right, I'll entry frag. That's fine with me. Yeah, I think his spacing was fine, honestly. I don't think there's really too much to talk about. This, though, is a curious... No. They win this one. They win this one. There's one where they play a post plant, and it's like, what just happened? But this was a cool... That last round, even though I didn't really explain it too much, like, that's a round where your star player, like, takes enough initiative on his with a teammate and you just get space that can net you a round win because he's just relaying all the info that nothing is there. The player's rotated off. There's no one here. He's willing to take the risks, push up forward, makes the IGL's job very easy. I call that on the desk a strategic luxury when players like Elige, Nico, and now Twistzz on FaZe will just take space for you, and then it makes your mid-rounding so much easier. That is a strategic luxury for an in-game leader. And Twistzz, this is his defensive utility set. He throws a Molotov instead of a smoke, then throws a late nade in case there's a walk push. And it actually does a lot of damage to SDY there. And pretty much just then throws a smoke. And, like, look at how this smoke that Twistzz is about to throw just freezes SDY for the round. Because he's going to hold the angle, throws the smoke towards lower, makes it, like, kind of runs around, even runs away, like, literally just ran away. But look at what SDY does. He heard that, but he's like, really? Like, he's kind of like, really? Does he really just run away, you know, after throwing that? You know, SDY is a player that is not shy to get aggressive, but he still doesn't push it. And Kerrigan actually does everything in this round, interestingly enough. And they get onto the bomb site. Dexter finds the kill. Twistzz playing a really kind of crazy angle that is supported because Magic's just thought that Molotov's right there. Why would there be a person right there? That's just dumb, right? But no, Twistzz actually takes some very, like, just high risk, but also a pretty high reward position because he's able to get that 1-for-1. And then Dexter just doesn't really have a chance. He's low HP. He's going to save this. So round 23. We're going to see him once again throw a pretty defensive utility set. He knows that he did util damage in the last round. He probably honestly looked at his UD. I mean, if you don't, you're missing out on information. So you should always, if you're in a real match, cycle through the stats, look at your UD, look at your utility damage. Did your nade do more damage? Did this increase? Because that is more important than looking at your kill death. This is just flat out more important. You can switch it so you can see your teammates' money, but UD, enemies flash, that actually gives you intel you otherwise wouldn't have. So make sure to get in the habit of checking that out if you, you know, have the wherewithal. But just holding the passive flank, and this is why, another reason why Vertigo, in my opinion, is kind of lame, because it's so, like, it's so easy for him to watch that flank. And now he's at the bomb site before they even, like, he's playing the most superior, like, that angle is just unbeatable, pretty much. And yet he still gets the clean kill on the bomb, on the player, and then is able to support the push onto the bomb site. Like, you know, I think that is one of my least favorite things about the map. Flanks are just not that great, especially if you're pushing B. That's why you didn't really see Twistzz push B too much. Like, it's just not valuable. It's just not that strong. He messed up a nade, shakes his crosshair, he knows that he messed up, he wants to show that anybody watching the demo, I know I messed that up. So, then goes into kind of a pressure lurk here, and this is a really good pinch. He is not supported, there is a lot of pressure towards middle right now. Kerrigan's already out in this area, and Twistzz knows that there's more presence towards middle, because Brokey is also there. Rain is kind of going towards middle also. This is very disjointed from FaZe, but it works because Twistzz is able to take this space by himself, and even though Kerrigan goes 1-for-1, Twistzz had the perfect timing to catch SDY as he was stuck between a rock and a hard place. And even though they have this 3v3 now, it's still kind of an awkward situation for FaZe here, because Spirit's pretty close, and Twistzz just kind of like, or is this the round? Yes, it is. So Twistzz kind of ends up in a poor position, and he kind of, like, he kind of probably thought this round was over. Like, honestly, he probably thought the round was over, but Spirit kept going for it, and this just caught, it felt like that caught FaZe off by surprise. Like, they thought that was going to be a save, but they still win because Spirit luckily didn't have a kit. Like, that was a very scary round for FaZe. They probably thought they lost that. I thought they lost that, until I looked and saw that they did not get on the bomb in time. And that's probably why FaZe thought that they didn't have, that they wouldn't go for it. But I'm pretty sure if Dexter would have had a kit, they would have had that. When I watched this game initially, that's what I thought. This is kind of like an anti-eco, which is more A-centric. Twistzz throws the nade early on. Kerrigan, trying to do his best Nafany impression, pushing through the smoke there towards ramp, does die. But you see that this is just a strength in numbers kind of approach for FaZe here. 3v4. And this is a miscom. This is definitely a miscom. So Brokey, Brokey just threw a Molotov through the Ivy area, and you could see that Twistzz wanted to throw his molly over there. And yet he stopped because Brokey probably said mollying. You know, I bet you Brokey was honestly like Molotoving, and he didn't really say what. So Twistzz put his molly away because there's no reason you don't want to Molotov sandbags in this position. You obviously do. Like you need to actually. So Olaf takes it upon himself to molly it after probably what was a miscomm or kind of a lack of info from Brokey. And so Twistzz still has his molly for the exec. You know, pushes off the corner. It's not the same Molotov I was talking about earlier. It forces the player forward. And what's dangerous about it is that, you know, like Mir still has a lot of room to play with. So Mir was able to get some info there. And so FaZe are kind of like, you know, they're kind of going for a mid play with Twistzz also staying at ramp. And this is a very weird mid round because there's just not a lot of time. There's 20 seconds left. And they're basically just saying, Spirit, we don't think you're going to expect this, and we have to catch you off guard. They do a pretty good job, but look at the time. 10 seconds left, and SDY is actually on this B site, and Twistzz has no time. This round should be over, right? Surely this is over. Nope. Twistzz saves the day, flies on in, and takes down SDY 15-10. This is going to be the last round of the game, and there's not a lot to talk about, so we're going to go pretty quickly on this one. Twistzz just throws a flash. Actually, we're going to look at SDY's point of view, because Twistzz throws a flash like this. Does this blind SDY? It does, but Twistzz peeks before the flash. And that's it. That's it for Twistzz in this game, so we're going to just zoom on forward. We'll look at the scoreboard here as FaZe win this final round, and that's going to be it. So let's look at it. Twistzz, 108 ADR, 389 utility damage, 7 enemies flashed, 1.78 KD, 68 headshot percentage. Highest in the server, unless Mir had higher, because we can't see his, of course. But let's go back into the HLTV. Let's look at the stats a little bit more in depth. Let's talk about Twistzz and how he's doing at Cologne, because he is carrying. He's doing very well for FaZe. He's doing very well. A couple players have popped off for them in different circumstances, but Twistzz, you know, he was the top player in every map of this BO3. Insane stuff, insane consistency from Twistzz. It's kind of what we always saw on Liquid, especially during their Grand Slam run. It's just that it's hard to take the spotlight when it felt like 3 players were always in the spotlight together for that team, with Elige and Naf obviously also being players that were instrumental in their victories. Everybody was doing very well for Liquid during that run, but let's look at briefly his stats for the event, because he is near the top. He's not at the top, but he is the highest rated player for FaZe, and right now he is the 7th highest rated player at the tournament. Of remaining players, he is the 5th highest, with Simple, Electronic, Nico, Shiro above him. And that is elite. That is an elite company to be among. So you can see that Twistzz just doing an excellent job right now. Really one of the reasons that FaZe is incredibly competitive in these games. And, you know, FaZe, it really did feel like they had this was kind of coming at some point or another. Like, when are they going to put it together? Because they were so close in so many of these series that they played. If you see the matches they lost, it was just insane how close some of them were. Like before IEM Cologne, let's ignore the Gamers Without Borders, even though I worked that event. It was like BO3, lose on third map. BO3, 16-14 to Navi twice to lose. BO3 to Spirit, lost 16-14 on the second map. Could have taken the series right there. BO3 could have beat G2 on train, 16-14, 1-1 map. Like, this was so close for them. They lost to Mousesports, went to overtime on their third map, you know. Lost to VP, 16-13, incredibly close. Lost to G2, another 16-14. Like, how close was it getting for FaZe for so long? And finally, they're getting over the hump in these moments now. They're winning versus Spirit in this game on Vertigo. They're winning versus Vitality on a 16-14. They're closing out the games that before they were letting go the other direction. It's really nice to see FaZe like this because FaZe play just exciting Counter-Strike. There's big name brands on this team. They're exciting in that Kerrigan's mid-rounding is a lot of fun sometimes. It's a little bit confusing. I mean, we saw that round go down to 5 seconds, you know, or 1 second with FaZe, with Twistzz barely getting the kill. But it's entertaining, to say the least. And I think the Counter-Strike scene is better with FaZe regardless of what you think of this org and the other people that are amongst it. They have great brand value. So that's going to be it, guys. Thanks for watching. Twistzz, if you're out there, hope you enjoyed. Hope this was an honest depiction of what happened in that match there. And, you know, guys, once again, if you haven't, leave a comment who you guys want to see. Tell me what you guys think about these. I reply to YouTube comments. I'm there right now. But I should be releasing this as I am in Ukraine. I should be in Ukraine by the time this video comes out. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the end of IEM Cologne, and hopefully if you guys are really interested in the tier 2/3 space, you guys check out the We Play Academy League event that's going on right there, where I am working that, because like all these teams are investing in young players, so why not check out what's going on with some of these projects. I am going to tell you guys a lot on these desks because I've already put in a lot of work into this. No player or demo reviews of these players because I want my YouTube to pop off, but as always, guys, being toxic is a choice.